The Washington Nationals have made their first big move this offseason as they have traded for Texas Rangers first baseman Nathaniel Lowe. We're going to get into all the pros and also some cons that he will bring to your Washington Nationals.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, check us out over on YouTube. Again, just search Locked On Nationals wherever you get your pods, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get it. Hit that subscriber button as well. So we get into some breaking news here as the Nationals have traded for first baseman from the Texas Rangers, Nathaniel Lowe, and they have traded away Robert Garcia, and which was a relatively surprising move. But let me just say this. If you are a Locked On Nationals listener constantly every single day, you've probably remembered us talking about this quite a lot. I think this is likely the splashiest move of this offseason for your Washington Nationals. And it's not a bad one per se, but let's get to know Nathaniel Lowe just a little bit more here. Nathaniel Lowe is kind of one of those things where he was not really necessarily expected to be traded at this point, but the Nationals jumped on it, and what Mike Rizzo does best is getting good value. And right here, the face value for Robert Garcia, and you get a pretty damn good first baseman. Someone who has won a Gold Glove back in 2023, and also was a Silver Slugger back in 2022. This is a very good deal. Now, again, he's got 2 years of control left. He's entering arbitration year number 3 here in 2025, where he's projected to make around $10.7 million. And then next year, going into 2026, when he's age 30, this is a pretty damn good deal for considering that you give up Robert Garcia, who is good, but he's very replaceable. But to get to know Nathaniel Lowe and what this guy is going to bring to the table for really hopefully the next few seasons is he is a pretty steady, consistent guy in the middle of your lineup. And if you kind of look at all the numbers, Nathaniel Lowe, one thing that I really like about this is that he's going to bring a nice balance over to first base. Let's kind of just dive deeper into this. Dominic Smith back in 2023. Very good defensively. One of the better defensive first basemen in all of baseball. Cannot do anything at the plate. This past season, when you have just this rolling door of Joey Meneses and Juan Yepez, there was no consistency there. I think with this move, you finally get to see that kind of consistent line that we have been looking for. Someone who is good defensively, but also can bring some power on the offensive side. Now, Nathaniel Lowe is not someone who's going to hit 40 home runs. His career high was back in 2022 when he had 27 home runs. He's good, but he's not going to hit 40 home runs. We could deal with that, though. One thing that I really wanted to see the Nationals do was try to go after Pete Alonso, in which that kind of feels as if it's out the window at this point, but there's still a chance. There's still a chance you try to make him your DH or something of that sort. But so far, this move, I think it's going to be looking back on it from a year now. We'll be saying this is a Mike Rizzo masterclass move. And really kind of getting into what Nathaniel Lowe does best, you might just be kind of sitting to yourself saying, well, if you look at his numbers, they've declined a little bit, and they have. If you look at his average exit velo, it's really kind of dipped over the last few seasons. And not crazy much, but it has dipped. And also all his rankings overall, he's not at the peak of his powers, I don't think. Now, with this Nationals team, he should not be like the quote-unquote savior of this organization. That's way too much pressure to put on this guy. This should not be treated as someone who is a Pete Alonso type. Although, let me say this. I don't think Nathaniel Lowe is just going to be some guy that you just throw off and say, he's not going to be that good. You traded Robert Garcia for him. No, this is a good deal. This guy is going to help you win games. Because again, one thing that I've really just kind of wanted to pounce on outside of Pete Alonso is consistency. I think that is what you'll be getting here with Nathaniel Lowe. someone who can cover a lot of range defensively over at first base. He's pretty solid at the plate, relatively a pretty consistent, a tick above average hitter, as his OPS plus was at 120 this past season with the Rangers, and also stays healthy. He has played 140 games plus since the pandemic, always going to be healthy, hits for decent power, even though it has dipped over the last 3 seasons. I still think this is going to be someone who will be batting 4th, 5th in your lineup, and I think overall will be a positive addition to this rotation. Now getting into it, though, there are cons here. And the one con, in my opinion, is that his numbers overall have kind of decreased just a little bit. And again, if you look at Baseball Savant, you've probably already noticed this already. But kind of just getting into everything that we know about Nathaniel Lowe. Listen, I'm not a Rangers fan. But I can tell you this is going to be one of those things where it could either really make this team or it could break it. And what I mean by that is you're putting a lot of eggs in this Nathaniel Lowe basket. Because at this point, this is probably your splash move, in which it is a nice addition, but does it put you over the finish line of where you want to be, of where we thought we could be, like signing a Pete Alonso? I don't think so. I think Pete Alonso brings a little bit more value offensively than what Nathaniel Lowe does. But of course, Lowe brings defensive value as well. But getting into like his numbers here, if you kind of look at Baseball Savant and you use them as kind of like your baseball Bible here, one thing that you will notice about him is back in 2022 and 2023, he was really damn good. Very consistent, as he had average exit velo in the 73rd percentile back in 2022. You look at his 2023 numbers there, it dipped down to the 59th percentile. In 2024, it dipped down to the 46th percentile. So his numbers have decreased overall. And exit velo is kind of one of those things where it's a little bit of an indicator of how a guy is at the offensive side of the plate. But with Lowe, I'm like, how will this guy help this team get to a postseason run? How will this guy kind of be like the cherry on top of a postseason finish here? And I just don't necessarily think that is the case at this point. Although, let me just say this. The deal that you get done here, talking about Mike Rizzo, doesn't really hurt us. You're not giving up a prospect. You're not giving up someone who you're really going to lean on come October baseball time with Robert Garcia. This trade is an overall plus move for the Nationals. This is a good thing. The Nationals needed to do something, and they really need to address the future at first base. And also now looking at the DH position, what do they do there? You have Juan Yepez and Andres Chaparro fight out for that DH spot. You go out there and you try to sign someone, whether it be Anthony Santander, and make that huge splash decision, which no one really expects at this point. I don't know. But I do think it's an intriguing move nonetheless. And of course, as after this vacation week, we'll talk plenty more about Nathaniel Lowe, what he'll bring to the Washington Nationals. But until then, enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone. We'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.